afternoon, everybody. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back together. I hope that everyone enjoyed their breakout sessions and learned something fantastic. I'm going to take my own little personal privilege of another commercial about volunteers. I have had some people say they want to be volunteers, and that excites me. If you are really interested in being a volunteer, we have a computer out there where you can go right online and sign up so we can start contacting you Monday. We won't waste any time because we've got things to do. All right, so we have assembled a fantastic panel of experts here, and they are going to introduce themselves to you. And I have some questions that have been written. I'll read the questions, and the appropriate expert will answer. So take it away, Doug.
Okay. I'm Doug Penrod, Senior Transplant Nurse Coordinator and Outreach Liaison at Northwestern. I've been a transplant for 31 years, and I'm also a kidney donor.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, let's hear it for a living donor.
I'm Ed Hollinger. I'm one of the transplant surgeons from Rush University.
Woohoo! Let's hear it for a transplant surgeon.
Hi, my name is Alicia Lickbar, and I'm one of the transplant pharmacists at the University of Illinois.
Let's hear it for the pharmacist. Don't take her job lightly. She's got a lot to do. She keeps us straight.
I'm Judith. I'm one of the pre-kidney transplant coordinators at Loyola.
Can't make it without the pre-transplant coordinators.
And I'm Sanjeeva Keen. I'm one of the transplant nephrologists at Loyola.
All right, let's hear it for the nephrologists. I think we've got all bases covered. It's very exciting. Okay, so the question is what to do if I want to travel to Europe or Asia. I'm going to think this person may be on dialysis. Is that so? If you ask this question, are you on dialysis? Okay, if someone on dialysis wants to travel to Europe or Asia, what would they do? And then maybe we can talk about post-transplant too.
If it's for dialysis, I'm probably not the best person to ask for that because I would usually defer to the social worker to figure that out. I think at some places it's been private pay. I know, like for India, I know it's usually just private pay. You just pay for your each dialysis session, though it is significantly cheaper over there. But I'm not sure about what to do when you go to Europe or elsewhere.
I can say I've had patients travel pre-transplant. They usually utilize their dialysis social worker, and they can set them up with some additional resources. But like Dr. Keena said, you're pretty much going to be self-pay. It's a little bit less expensive as the United States, and you're going to continue your regular dialysis session as you normally would in your local center.
And if I could add, I do know there is a dialysis cruise, and you definitely pay out of pocket for your dialysis treatment when you're on that cruise. So it's a cruise that has dialysis available on the ship, and that is pretty expensive, like $3,000 for the week. Okay. I am 74 years old. I've been on dialysis for 7 years. No significant complications. What is my prognosis? So maybe.
I'm guessing that's for me as well. It's kind of a loaded question because I hate to say what's going to happen to you. Though the one aspect I look at it is one of the key time points I think for dialysis is the 5-year mark. If you do well, if you're still alive at 5 years, that usually means you've done pretty well, and maybe you just, as you said, you don't have a lot of complications. So But I don't know if I can give you a good answer of what the prognosis is long term with that. But it's good that you made it this far.
Can you talk about the long-term effects of prednisone on your body?
I think so when we think about prednisone, or when I think about prednisone, I think it's a matter of what doses and how long somebody's been exposed to that particular medicine. You can think of it in two schools. The first school is the doses that we use for autoimmune disease, like Crohn's flares, asthma flares. We're using really high doses. The body itself, your own body, makes its own steroid in the adrenal gland. We make about 20 milligrams of prednisone equivalent a day. When we start to go above that dose, in addition to what we give you for medicine, you can have side effects. So higher doses of prednisone, what we see usually, patients complain of heartburn. We usually ask them to take it earlier in the day because it can make people more awake if they take it at night. There can be weight gain. But if we look at the doses that we use for transplant, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, much lower doses, in some of the comparative studies that have been done out to 2 years, there is no significant difference in weight gain. And some centers use that to kind of balance some of the other side effects of the immunosuppression as well. Adding on a little bit of the steroid can lessen some of the side effects of the other anti-rejection medicines. So I think it's all along a spectrum, but it comes down to what dose and how aggressive a center is with their steroid and what they're using it for.
Okay. Can you be transplanted with heart disease?
Yes.
Can you be transplanted with heart disease?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, any of us before we do a kidney transplant are going to do a medical evaluation, and a big part of that, obviously, is to look at cardiac status. There's really two pieces of that are important. One piece, obviously, is your heart good enough to get you through a transplant surgery? And so that's a big part of the workup because, if you ask your cardiologist, if you have some heart disease and you ask your cardiologist, can I go out and run a marathon? And your cardiologist says yes, they're probably going to give you the caveat that if you have chest pain at, mile 12, you should stop. In the middle of a kidney transplant, which is roughly the metabolic equivalent of running a marathon, you're not going to have chest pain. The anesthesiologist is just going to tell me that we have a problem. So we really like to know about that ahead of time. So one piece is, can you get through surgery? And then the second piece that's really important is many of the things that cause kidney disease or go along with kidney disease also affect the heart. So you're not having a kidney transplant to have a kidney transplant and then die of a heart attack 6 months later. So we really want to make sure that your heart's in good shape long term and then have good long-term follow-up afterwards so we optimize the function of your heart. But the short answer is lots of patients that we transplant have heart problems, yeah.
Okay, this is a question about Sensipar. How can I keep this medication down? I tried peanut butter and crackers. I tried eating a big meal. How can I keep this drug down? I don't want bone disease.
I'll try this one again. So I think it depends also. So what starting dose might a patient have been started out on? A lot of patients do get nauseous from Sensipar. It's one of its main side effects. Usually what our strategy is, or what I like to do, is start at a very low dose, 30, and then slowly inch it up as patients tolerate. It might take a while to get to the dose that I want them to be on, but I like the start low, go slow approach. And that sometimes helps the stomach a lot better than, say I want them on 90 or 120, but I'm going to start them out on 30 and inch them up as they tolerate. And that way I can get to the dose that I want without necessarily having the side effects right out the gate. The other approach that I take is, take it in the morning, and then instead of doing like peanut butter or something fatty, I try to go the route of toast or crackers or something like carb. We have patients that tolerate that a little bit better from the clinic, but that's just kind of anecdotal.
And I think there's an IV formulation of Sensipar also out for dialysis patients. So that might be another option to look at if you're on dialysis. Mm-hmm. So.
Ask your center if you can possibly get it by IV. Your doctor. Ask your doctor if they can possibly give it to you by IV. Okay. Is there a certain diet one should follow after transplant? Certain food to cut down on, like meat?
So from my standpoint, usually, I try to tell patients that they go on they can actually start to resume a pretty normal diet. I know our surgeons usually in the like on post-op day 3 put them on a regular diet, so they kind of have free access to whatever they want. Obviously, it depends upon if they're diabetic or maybe some other issue that may require a restricted diet. But typically, your dialysis diet, your renal diet, we try to go away from that and let you kind of open up to whatever you need. Obviously, we follow your labs, and if there's some problems with like your potassium afterwards or something like that, we may recommend some changes to your diet based on that. But overall, it should be a pretty open diet.
Low sodium, heart healthy.
Thank you, Monica.
That's what they told me. Is a KT over V at 1.6 over, I think it says, can that be adequate for shorter, like 3.5 hours of dialysis?
So, usually I think the target KT over Vs for dialysis units is somewhere around 1.3, 1.4. So if your KT over V is 1.6, theoretically, yeah, you could probably reduce your time. Obviously, you want to talk to your nephrologist because there may be other reasons they have you on for an extended period of time, if it's fluid removal or despite a good KT over V, maybe your potassium levels still run high. So you could potentially reduce your time, but obviously discuss it with your nephrologist.
And does the hospital do radiology of your fistula, and do they provide transportation?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, we do have interventional radiology in most of the hospitals. Transportation issue becomes problematic because in many cases for hospitals, that's illegal. So.
Okay, so I think certain dialysis centers have connections with certain
There are some private ones, I think I've
The
heard. There are some private groups that actually will provide
transportation, but
if
I
I
think,
recall.
yeah,
But
so
I don't
think
know
that's
them off the
what
top of
the
my
question is based on.
Both DaVita and Fresenius, who provide the majority of dialysis, have their own access centers now where they use interventional nephrologists to do that type of thing, and they have all of that equipment there.
So the social worker at the dialysis center and the nurse who takes care of, who's the access care person, can guide you in the right direction with that. Okay, so I think that's it. Did somebody give me another question? Okay, here's a question from my transplant, my transplant people. Can I sign up for transplant today? I want to go to Northwestern. This is for you, Doug.
No.
Wait. I am 58 and have been on dialysis for about 2 years. I have other medical problems.
Okay. Number one, no, you cannot sign up to get on the list today. And I don't care which center you go to, they can't put you on the list today. All the centers do things basically in the same manner. You have to go in for an evaluation clinic where you not only have a full evaluation, but you're going to learn about transplant. There's an educational component that's probably as important as anything. And not only that, you're going to meet with a social worker, maybe a financial coordinator. You'll meet your nurse and a transplant nephrologist and or a transplant surgeon while you go through this evaluation. And normally, this beginning evaluation takes up about a day. Some places will draw blood, other places don't. After that, they'll have a selection committee meeting, which you won't know about, where they're going to talk about all of you behind your back and make a decision. Did we order the right things, or is this person even a reasonable candidate for transplant? Now, in that case, not all transplant centers are created equal. We all have different criteria to a certain extent, especially when it comes to weight. Okay? And some centers will take larger patients, some centers won't take those same patients, which is why if one center turns you down, get your answer why, and then get a second opinion. Okay. What was the other part of that question?
I'm 58 and been on dialysis for about 2 years
Okay,
and
2
has
years.
other medical
Under
problems.
the new rules that went into effect December 2014, your time on dialysis counts as waiting time now, okay? And as far as other medical problems, every patient we see's got other medical problems. So again, every patient is different. So we're going to approach each patient on an individual basis based upon what they bring to the operating table. Okay? Thank you.
All right, so that was it for our questions for our Ask the Expert panel. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Okay, and so the moment that we've been waiting for, we're going to do our raffle drawing. We'll let one of our experts pull for us. We have 2 drawings. Spin it. Shake it up a little bit.
Ed, you can't draw. You might injure your surgical hand.
See what I mean?
Just stay away from it.
Sorry, Doug.
Yeah, that one's heavy.
Oh, wait, some fell out.
I know. Okay, you want me to read this or you want to? 858 066. 858 066.
Oh, did I? Woohoo, yay! You are the winner of one of our fantastic baskets there. Let's see. Let's compare. Huh? 85066. Yep, there you go.
You want another one?
Yep, pull one more.
The winner of raffle ticket number 2 is 857963. Again, 857963.
We have a winner. Woohoo! That's it. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. We hope you've found this to be educational and informative. For those of you who are on dialysis and who are interested in transplant, we do have an upcoming program called Big Ask, Big Give. It's going to take place on September 22nd, which is a Sunday at Malcolm X Community College. So if you're interested in that, that information is available on our website. You can sign up. It's also free. It's from noon to 4. So come out and bring your loved ones because they can learn about being a living donor as well as learn about being a champion to help you find a living donor if they are not eligible or willing to be your living donor. So it'll be a great program, and I think you'll learn a lot there as well. So thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for your involvement. Karen was just here. I just want to congratulate Karen on a job well done for coordinating this whole thing. Let's give her a round of applause so she can hear it out there. It's not a small undertaking to plan something like this. I think, here's Karen. Come on, Karen. Thank you to Karen. Woo-hoo. And Karen said there's lots of food left, so if you guys want to grab something, but leave one for me, you can take something with you. Oh, and don't forget to please, please, please complete your surveys. We really use them. We read through those surveys, and that guides how we plan the next programs coming up. So if you have not completed and submitted your survey, please do that before you leave. We beg you, we beseech you, please ma'am, please sir, fill out your surveys and turn them in at the registration table out front. And you'll get a freebie. Don't miss your NKFI freebies. And while you're at the table, register to be a volunteer.